Bansal. Anuja, please do share your experiences with us.
So after such an inspirational and such a motivational talk by you, I don't think I have any words left. But first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Awardee and Shiva. Shiva introduced me to WEF, and thank you both of you for giving me this opportunity. I think I can begin by asking all of you one question, and I want you to ask this question probably every single day before you go to bed. Do you really think you live in a united India? Do you really believe you live in one country called India? Or do you think that our country is divided and it's not one country? And this is a question that we must ask ourselves every single day. You know, at one level, we are an economy which is $2.4 trillion. We are an economy which has grown 8-fold in the last 25 years. We are an economy which has the emerging rich, which has the emerging middle class, with global aspirations. We have an economy with a GDP growth which the world is envious of. But in the same breath, I would like to say that we are a country where 21% of the world's poor live. 20% of our population lives below poverty line. There are 20 million children in this country who have lost parental care. No government, no civil society player, or all of this put together can make a difference. They can't change the current situation. It's people like us, each one who's sitting in this room, our extended groups, our families, our social media groups, who can help change what we are dealing with in this country. And I'm often asked this question, I'm only an individual, what can I do? And if all of us and everyone thought that I can make a difference, then we can certainly make a difference. So believe me, having practiced and having worked in this sector for 20 years, each one of us can make a difference. It can be something as simple as, you know, calling up a helpline when you see people in distress. How many of you know the numbers of helpline, various helplines? Please go back, Google, and save those numbers. And next time you see people in distress, people who are not as privileged as us, pick up your phone and make that call. It will make a difference in the life of these people. You can volunteer your time. You can actually use your social media to create awareness about various problems that this country is facing. So there are lots and lots of things that you can do, and this is how my journey started as well. By profession, I'm a chartered accountant, and like all chartered accountants, early in my career, I was with the corporate world. I wanted to make my zillions. That was my aspiration as a young person. But at one point of time, I volunteered for about 3 months for CRY Child Rights in Youth. And since then, I haven't looked back. And I must tell you that there is not a single moment that I'm not thankful to God for giving me this opportunity to work with children. So today I head an organization called SOS Children's Villages of India. We are an organization which has been in this country for 52 years. We're an organization which is present in 32 different locations in 22 states. We take care of 30,000 children. Of these 30,000 children, there are 7,000 children who have lost parental care. These are children who are either abandoned or who are orphaned. We certainly provide them, so we don't run an orphanage. Let me just correct that if any of that is coming to your mind. We certainly take care of their needs, their physical needs, giving them shelter, giving them good education, taking care of their health care, their nutrition. All of that is very important, and we provide for that. But every child and for all of us as human beings is the importance of belonging. We all want to belong. Some of our fondest memories, my fondest memories, are the times when my mom has cooked for me with love. The food may not have been great, but it was all the love that she poured into it which made the food so great, right? The times when I have shared things with my brothers which I could not share with anyone else. The times that I have spent with in family dinners, spent with my community, with my neighbors, doing things. Those are my fondest memories. And I think that would be all of yours as well. And then why should these children, who are anyways traumatized by loss of their parents, not have the same privilege? At SOS, we believe that no child should grow up alone. And every child deserves a loving home. And this is what we practice every single day of our lives. There are 1,800 people working in the organization. There are mothers who are actually taking care of 8 to 10 children every single day like their own child. And this is, and what I'm sharing with you is not something that, is fiction. It's a reality, and it's a reality from very recent times. One of our mothers in a village in Srinagar, in a home in Srinagar, there was stone pelting going on, and there was her child who was returning with her from the school, and a stone was thrown at the child, and she stood in the way. And she was actually really badly hurt. She hurt her eye. And she's not a biological mother. She is an SOS mother. And those are memories, and those are the values that we live by as an organization. We also take care of, so this is our curative program. Very quickly, we also take care of children who are at risk of losing parental care. So there are 24,000 children that we try and support, not help. We don't help anybody, only an individual can help themselves. We try and support so that they can also realize their dreams. And the best way to do that is to empower the mother. And we work towards empowering the mother, both socially and economically and in every other way that is possible. Because there's no one else. A mother, if she earns 100 rupees, she will spend 90 of that on her children. This is actually true. So if you empower a woman, you are empowering an entire family, and that is what we do. So this is, I personally believe that if we have to make a difference to our country, to the world that we live in, we need to first start taking responsibility of the children who are not as privileged as us, who are not as privileged as me, who are not as privileged as my daughter. And if I can give 80% of what I give to my daughter to these 30,000 children that I am taking care of, then really I have done what I came in this world to do. And for me, that is my calling, and that is my wellness. I would encourage all of you again to reflect on the first question that I asked. Do we want to live in a country which is divided? And if not, then each one of us need to contribute to bring about change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those powerful words and for just reminding us to just make that call and just very inspired and touched with your story. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite Sneh Bhavsar to come and speak with us, the CEO of Ovumania.
Good evening. I do not have the courage. I think I am the youngest man today speaking from here. Sneh is one of the youngest, if not the youngest. And the kinds of speakers who have spoken here, I mean, they have been inspiring, they have been teaching a lot of things. I have attended a couple of other parallel sessions as well, and I've been collecting all this from the morning. And I'm glad that I chose to come down from Ahmedabad here and join all these women. I hope there are more men next time who can listen to all these inspirational females from the dais. My name is Sneh Bhavsar. I've worn a lot of hats during my career. I did my graduation in Information Systems and Management, as I never wanted to go into technology hands-on. But technology is thrilling for me, like even today. My first experience and my first exposure to wellness was when I started working on Omania. That is the organization that we started. So we started a workshop with 20 odd females to understand day in day out issues, what do they have, and they wrote some problems on a sticky note. They stuck it on the board, and then we categorized all those problems, and 45 to 50% of these problems of lifestyle problems. All of these women, they also came from urban areas, so obviously their issues were not very serious, but they always wanted to do more. All of these women were working women, all of these women were mothers of one or two children, so they always struggled with their daily lives with the sort of energy that they have. Some of the notes that they read that there's a huge competition in my company, I work for 12 hours, how can I increase my energy and work for 14 hours? It is to debate that whether this is rational or not, whether to work 14 hours a day or not. However we change all these things, it is not going to change the fact that females, they have to run the house. We don't encourage that, but men are incapable of some of the things that females do. I mean, I've experienced myself. I've been married for 6.5 years now, and I can't really, I've surrendered myself that, I've tried to pose myself as, I help, I wash the utensils, I do the cleaning and all of those things, but I've surrendered that, no, I really can't. My wife, she woke up at 4 a.m. when I was leaving today, and she, she heat up the milk, and, she did that. I would not be able to do that. I'll just touch upon a few things on the innovation part, that what is happening in the wellness space. So there are three things which are the most touched upon areas recently. There are wearable gadgets where we are trying to understand that how much we are sleeping and what's our pulse, and we are also now getting into the skin. These wearable devices are also trying to understand that what is the glucose level under the body and what is the blood sugar in your body. So we are getting towards technology where I've been listening to these things from morning, that technology is getting into us. Someone also spoke on the cyber law, that what kind of data is out there and how we are vulnerable to all these things which is lying around us, WhatsApp and social media and all that. So now even what is lying inside our body, it is also going to be shared with the entire world, so people will start knowing. I heard one of the incidents where data was used to kill someone without even getting near to the person. So in US, a lot of hospitals now, they have data on cloud of the patient. So there is no like a pad where the history is written for the patient. So someone just hacked the computer and changed the medication in the computer, and that person was given the wrong medicine, and he basically died because of the wrong medication. There's a huge chunk of wellness is going to weight loss. So as we are working the female, I'll take 2 more minutes please. I'll just talk about the work that we are doing. Omania is an online platform where females, they talk about their issues with doctors, counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, nutrition, dietitians. and that is anonymous. Again, I mean, I'll admit that however we try and be outspoken, we talk about periods, PCOS, pregnancy, sex, but some of the things are very personal and will need some privacy while talking about these issues. So this is the platform where we are trying to address this anonymously. We have around 400 doctors on the panel who are trying to answer these questions online. Last two things, it will not be possible without education. Whatever we are trying to do, like females, so there are two projects that we are doing. I'm part of the Global Shapers community, which is also WEF, initiated by WEF, which is World Economic Forum. There we have a project where we teach young girls about menstruation and the taboos around it, and we have educated around 5,000 little girls in schools where they don't even have the basic facilities. So we are trying to take this education to females. And the last thing is that whether the society or the policies or the slower governance, it will have to be done by us. So I took my initiative when I was already working as an IT professional. I left that. From last 3 years I have not taken the salary from my startup. It is really struggling to even sustain. I'd like to know that how many of the females would like to help me and take this forward. So I'll make my pitch that whoever wants to help Omania to grow and become a bigger platform, I'd be happy to take the help. At last, I'll just say that if we want to do it, we will have to do it, and we will not. We can't rely on others or the governments or the policies of the society to help us. We'll have to do it ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sneh, for your honest admission, and of course we'd love to jump in and help you in any which way I can. So we'll definitely, if any of us are interested, we can definitely catch him offline after. And with that, I'd like to invite Dr. Sruti Mohapatra to speak with us. She's a disability rights activist. I welcome you, Dr. Sruti.
Good evening. I bow to the divinity in all of you. My heartiest thanks to Dr. Arora for having invited me, because the biggest thing that we can do to persons with disability is to look beyond the disability and not be overwhelmed by whether a person can see, can walk, and bring them to the mainstream. I wasn't always in a wheelchair, and I was a good student. I was a gold medalist and topper in graduation and post-graduation. I was a literary champion of my university, 3 times national debating champion, a state basketball player, and then in my first attempt, I cleared the Indian Civil Services and was all set to lead a very settled and comfortable life, when the higher powers decided that more challenges should come in my way, and rash driving by one person devastated 3 families, leaving 2 of my very close relatives dead, and me on the wheelchair, and a little baby girl orphaned for life. Well, suddenly life became different. I am a C7 T1 quadriplegic, which means I have no movement or sensation below my neck, which means for my very personal work, like managing my bath or changing my clothes or my menstrual highs and taking care of it, I need help, which means there is no privacy in life. But these physical challenges, believe me, were not challenges. There was a lot of pain. But what was more challenging was the emotional trauma I suffered and the hips of rejection, the hips of isolation, the hips of humiliation that was launched on me, was thrown on me. 1987, 14th April, I was a happy-go-lucky person. 1987, 14th April in the evening, 7:30 p.m. I was disabled, I was different, I was rejected. It was underlined, I am different, I do not belong to the society. UPSC did not allow me to join the services. The person who claimed that I was the only woman created for him decided to leave me and get married to someone else. But that did not stop my family. I'm a very positive person, and I'm grateful to the Divine for having given me a wonderful family, my father and my mother, who stood behind me like a rock. They said, okay, you don't get to join the services. Let's find out what can you do. Academics would be ideal for you, and I go to the university to complete an MPhil and PhD. And what do I find? Same university, same professor, a seminar secretary of their department, a pride of their department, all of them nodding their head. No, she can't do a PhD. Shruti, look at your fingers, they're all curled and bent. Look at you sitting in that wheelchair. How can you do a PhD? Again a fight. Now I find I have spent 95% of my time convincing others that I have the potential and I can do it. But here was again a family which decided not to take a no for an answer. We tried everything. My one big problem was I was undergoing a bladder training and I would wet my clothes every time I was anxious. My mother said, no way, you're not stopping going back to the university. Thick towels were being cut and converted into pads so that I would be comfortable and do my PhD. I completed not just a PhD in a record 3.5 years, but I also won the National Young Scientist Award. And I was so proud because it had nothing to do with my disability. Thank you very much. But then, my struggles did not end there. Then with my degree and my medals, I went to different private colleges and research institutions to become a faculty member, and I was always doing the best among the candidates. If there were one position, I was second. If there were 2 vacancies, I was third. And if there were 7 vacancies, I was 8th. And then I came back and told my father, Dad, no more.